Quick turnover for here. Slightly tighter schedules here for Sunbowl 2020, but we move. 2 Sunbowls down, 2 more to go. We're at the halfway point, ready to kick off the third quarter of our Sunbowl Saturday here in 2020. And we've got the women's division up next in a groundbreaking moment. We've got a title game with 2 11-a-side teams here. We have got the Hendeka side taking on Aces 11. I'll bring up more about those 2 teams shortly, but those teams are in the tunnel ready to come out. And joining me today, taking a year off a bit of football, maybe a little longer, I've got Queensland and Australian representative in Ella Briscoe. Welcome back to the booth, Ella.
Thank you, Kenny. Good to be here.
And referees have hit the field there. Just a quick look at there. This game will be headed by Paul Mercer. Nigel Law will be at ump. Brian Curry, Jason Gambier, Petey Solis, Shane Ozette, Barbara Johnsons. I think that's 3 games in a row for Bob. Ian Taylor, Chris Emery, and Tim Redshaw will be rolling on the instant replays. That's been a very busy job so far in the last 2 games. Challenges have certainly been used. Kate Bennett's giving me the thumbs up. Our teams are ready to go. In the tunnel now, out comes first. I think that is the Hendeka side, featuring predominantly Bayside Ravens, but a conglomerate team made up of a lot of Ravens, a lot of Raptors. Hendeka, the name chosen, I believe my research is correct, is a Greek word for 11 or something to that nature. Could have military background as well, but they'll be taking the far side sideline. They're coached by Ike Summerfield, making his head coaching debut. And now, dressed in white and gold, led out by Amanda Ewers. Here comes your Aces 11 side. Quarterbacked by Amanda Ewers, head coached by Kel Howson. This team features a lot of the defending premiers from the Griffith University Thunder. But here it is, 11-a-side football here in the women's division, featuring in 2020. 2020's had some, Lucas had some weird experiences, but this is going to be one of the positives, a positive move forward here for women's football. Ella Briscoe, I'll get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a long time coming, and yes, whilst 2020 wasn't the year that I guess it was scheduled to happen, it's certainly a good move forward, and moving forward, obviously, for nationals and that sort of stuff. It's really a good push from Queensland now to get these other states on board. And seeing what we've done here, even just with the 2 teams, we should really be able to force the other states' hands and get a real nationals happening. It's
not come without its hiccups. I think both coaching staffs would agree. There was certainly some teething issues to begin with, some learning difficulties, and of course, when you've only got 2 teams to play off, that can get, for lack of a better word, a little monotonous, especially when there is a title game at the end of the season. It's not just a matter of who wins most. But with representative football looking to make the shift to 11-a-side, for those girls who have aspirations to move further in their footballing career, this only helps out a little bit more playing in the 11-a-side format.
Yeah, it definitely had to happen. There's girls here that have been playing as long as I have, as well as the rookies as well. But you just see that there's obviously been a lot more of an injection of enthusiasm, even from the rookies having to take on this 11-a-side.
As well, quickly, I think we're getting the audio from midfield. We'll hold tight. I think Paul Mercer's being very...
There's certainly some discussion down there.
Oh, looks like, well, microphone looks like it's coming on now. Sorry for the radio silence there, folks. Mr. Mercer, if you're hearing this, would love you to turn your microphone on when making announcements. And there's still a lot of respect between a lot of these captains. Just I didn't get to run through them. Kestra Bessie, now no longer Trias Mono, the best officially a Bessie on the jersey. Alex Aarons, as well as Chrissy Torres making a return to football, and Marissa Hayes. And for the Aces 11 side, you got Amanda Ewers, Casey Cubis, Liz Patu, and I think that was the 51 in Marty Toa Toa, getting the captain's nod here in 2020. Well, look, obviously this is a step away from the Sunbowl history we've had between these two teams. The last 2 years, it's been, the last 3 years, 2 years has been Ravens taking on the Thunder. And whilst it is two teams here, it's hard to ignore the colours in their helmets. Certainly a lot of those memories still coming to the forefront for the Ravens players who lost last year, and plenty of confidence from a lot of those Thunder women playing today, but also a lot of the players, Gold Coast, a lot of Gold Coast players moving into the Aces 11 side, a lot of Raptors moving into the Hendeka side. It seems like it's been a pretty positive experience for everyone marrying up.
Yeah, for those girls that wanted to continue playing and needed somewhere to go, it was really good that both the Ravens and Thunder put their hand up and really amalgamated those teams. And I think with the neutral namings, whilst it's not what we're used to, it's at least given the teams two sets of identities to be able to continue going forward and have this mix of players.
So the very first ever women's 11-a-side state championship about to take place here at the Sunshine Coast in the year 2020.
I do enjoy seeing that many players on the field, though.
There's a lot of different factors that we'll probably discuss throughout. I mentioned in the juniors game, a prelude to this, that the length of the game and the amount of snaps played once you move to 11-a-side was definitely a factor that a lot of the women here have had to get used to over the course of the season. We're underway, 11-a-side football, women's division. This is going to be returned by, I think that was jersey
Moran.
number 6, Moran, who is, by all accounts, returning to a traditional role of running back after dabbling at linebacker throughout the entirety of the year 2020.
Probably the last person you want to kick it to on the full.
I think so, and they kept her a little higher up the sort of order there. I don't know if she was the primary returners, but she got the ball in her hands.
Yeah, good setup for their first drive.
All right, here we go. Torres at quarterback, putting Bessie in motion. An awkward handoff there, and let's chalk that up to a win on play 1 here for Aces 11. And I talked about Hendeka's name earlier. Aces 11s, well, obviously some pretty common terminology there, but Amanda Ewers also suggested that, some of its insinuation is that they always had an extra trick up their sleeve, or an ace in this case. William Reeves back from his presenting duties. Bessie in motion. They're throwing here, and that's a good call. Candice Swaysland underneath it. That'll be good for about 5 or 6 yards here, and we're seeing Torres back in action. Took a year off, obviously, to handle her first year in motherhood. And Torres, who's played at the state level and obviously led the Ravens to a Sun Bowl a couple seasons ago. Here she is back at the big stage at the quarterback position. Third down here for Hendeka. Once again, for the third time in a row, Bessie in motion. A rollout here for Torres. Torres has an open receiver downfield, keeps her feet in bounds. Wonderful concentration. I'm trying to do the maths here. That is good enough for a first down. Passing game looking pretty good early here. Ella.
Yeah, look, Torres comes straight out of the blocks they busted on a run play that got shut down pretty quick, but 2 quick passes and we're moving the sticks and the chains downfield. So I like where they're going here. Great catch there, just watching it on the replay. Staying in bounds.
Would have been good in the NFL. They had that many toe taps there. 1st and 10 from Aces 32. Bessie will get the tip this time around. Has got a bit of space on the outside. Wonderful block there. That springs Bessie for an extra 3 or 4 yards. Not a bad play there on 1st down. Haven't had a chance to run through some of the key players, particularly on this Aces 11 defense. No bigger than probably Liz Partout, dominating in 2 different sports. Obviously, anyone who's watched the last couple of Sunbowls would have heard me talk about her rugby background, playing at the national level there and now making quite the splash on the American equivalent.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse. I can attest to that personally. But great player, great for the game.
We'll go sideline. The sideline, they've plonked her at Mike Backer, I think.
Yep.
Where she can just create havoc just like that. But they get the ball out. Swaysland grabs her 2nd catch of the afternoon. Candice Swaysland looking like she's getting the start out of wide receivers. Has played all across the park in her footballing career, starting out with the Panthers and eventually finding her way to the Ravens. Has played linebacker, moved to safety eventually, even played some D-line back in the Ravens' first year in the women's division, and now she finds herself on the outside. Torres on 3rd and short. Aces looking to grab a big stop here. Torres has got some space to the outside. That pass was intended to Cody Fuller. Can't quite bring it in. Had a bit of space to her outside though, and this will bring up a 4th down. How big of a stop will this be if Aces 11 can turn the ball over here?
Yeah, most definitely. Big stop. Like, first drive, you certainly want to score points. Hendeka's come out wanting to do that, and they've been having reasonable success here. If they can get a 1st down, game on.
Watch it. I think that's big. It's Lon Tulloch lined up in the middle there. Renowned pass rusher, but she has been out of the game for quite some time. Has been strictly coaching. They'll give it to Moran.
Yeah, there you go.
And Moran can get you 4 yards.
Yep. All they needed was 1.
It is interesting. As I said, hasn't been taking running back carries throughout the 6-game schedule between these 2 teams. Only got 2 carries in their last game, which is her warm-up for this game. 2 carries, and they're going to give her the start there, but had desperately been keen to play linebacker. Had her opportunity this season, but she's back at her traditional role once again. Torres looking to the right.
Whoa.
Incomplete. I think that might have been the 19 and... Oh, maybe it was a 16, trying to make out that number. It's in the 13 one. Riley Hodgson, who is returning from a broken hand, getting underneath that. Riley Hodgson broke a hand in game 2. Was questionable heading into this game, but came good this week. She's a girl you'll put on your list immediately if she's available.
Yeah, gutsy play. I wouldn't be too keen coming off a broken bone, but...
Torres tucks it. No, looks downfield, launches and throws. Intercepted. Aces 11. Getting underneath it, and it's that girl, Riley Hodgson. Almost got her to play a go this time. Takes the ball away and grabs an intercept before her first catch here in the Sunbowl.
Yeah, good work on the intercept there. Unlucky for Torres. She was really starting to put something together there, so hopefully she can shake that off and come back in the second series and sort those kinks out. But I like where they're going.
Yeah, and something I mentioned earlier about like the amount of plays that increases when you move from 8-minute quarters to 12-minute quarters. You can wave a lot of those sort of turnovers off. You can have a lot more time than you did in 8-minute quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got time, like you said, to make up from some of those errors.
Ewers on her first snap of the game, running using that left arm fend. She does so well. Will grab the first down here and get them out of trouble.
That's a great individual effort. Stuck on her own goal line there.
Late flags on the plate. Shaking off Bessie. And that's always nerve-wracking when your first snap of the game is inside your own goal line. Inside your own end zone, I should say.
Only thing I could see there is possibly against one of the Aces players.
Yeah, I think you called it. And it looks like Mr. Mercer might have got the old mute button back to front here, but we'll try to translate as best we can. But simply put, that flag was irrelevant on that last play. 1st and 10 here for Aces 11. First running play of the, or designed running play of the game. Goes for good for about a yard. Trying to make out, I think that's Holly Dimmick, possibly getting the start at running back. Second and 11 now, so it was actually maybe half yard lost on that last play. And it looks like we've got a false start, so that'll move him back a couple of yards now. Amanda Ewers, 2019 Sunbowl MVP. You've defended against her.
False start, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Yeah, look, she's a thinker. Constantly looking around the park where she wants to go. She's a dual threat. You can't just expect her to pass. She will tuck it and run, and with deceptive speed, I must say. But yeah, she knows how to play this game. She does a really good job at quarterback.
Second out from inside their own 10. It's a high snap. She'll have to handle it herself. Hendecker get one back there.
And this is what Hendecker need to do if they're going to be a real threat in this game, is they need to capitalise on some of the Aces' mistakes. I know as a defensive player, when you see a bad snap, you want to get through and put as much pressure on as possible because you know the timing's out.
And there's a name I haven't had to call yet. On the bottom of your screen, Casey Cubis was uncovered for a hot second there. Swayze Lane comes over to cover. High snap, but is fielded nicely from Ewers. Finds an open receiver underneath. And will run it out of bounds. I think that was the... I think that might have been Amy Henry returning to the game here in 2020. That it was.
Playing receiver, Amy. Well done.
Look at that. Obviously,
she loves it.
Most know her from her outside linebacker days.
And a good one at that.
Yes, was one of the most ferocious edge defenders in the women's nine-side days. Obviously, a horrible injury a season ago, or was it 2 seasons ago now, that ended her season, and it's great to see her back. So 4th down here, Hendecker's done a good job. Forces, well, not quite a 3 and out, but a punt from inside their own half. Back to return, I think, is the 11 in Herdman, and a big return that will set up her offense there. That is Dania Herdman, the rookie free safety and obviously punt returner on this team.
And is this Cubis I see putting a shot on to end that run?
If it is, I'm glad. Ewers misses and boom,
yes.
14 laying the lumber. I've already seen, she's got one of the most supportive families, I swear, in the sport of football. I see them at almost all her games, and they're certainly one of the loudest as well. And I've already spotted some of them here loud and in support of their girl Casey. Here goes Moran. Moran with another couple of trustworthy yards. And that'll be 2nd and 5. Cody Fuller's going to line up really wide out here, just inside the numbers. April Arnold playing slot inside her. Bessie will get the flick though, and she'll find a bit of space. Rolls out a one, stretching out for the goal line, but will find herself a yard or two short. And you want to talk about people coming back from a bit of time off as well. Bessie's another one of those.
Did she ever leave? She does well.
I think if she could have stayed through her pregnancy period, I'm sure she would have tried.
I saw her at the Australian trials doing her fitness test, pregnant.
Oh, Lordy.
Still running sprints faster than most.
And yes, just not too long ago, I think it was maybe sometime within the last 12 months, gave birth to her son Lyndon. Here goes Torres.
Wow.
And that'll set him up for second in goal. But yes, Lyndon, named after, I believe, Kestra's mother, Linda. So her and Mitchell, now married, welcoming Lyndon to the world. Second in goal, Hendeka with the opportunity to be the first team on the board here. Turned the ball over last time they were inside the red zone. Intercept via Riley Hodgson. Couple in the backfield now, of course, Moran one of those. Swaysland in motion, Torres hands off to Moran. And Moran denied here. And a flag on the far sideline and near sideline. Pick your sideline.
You'd have to think that's movement on the line,
Logically.
or maybe an illegal shift.
Where fouls against both teams. Have illegal motion, number 10. Offside, number 9. Those penalties offset. Repeat second down.
Illegal motion meets offside.
Well, there you go. That's a get out of jail free for Hendeka.
Indeed, they'll stay just a couple of yards shy of pay dirt.
And this is their opportunity. They've really got to capitalise on that.
Well, let's see how Moran goes. I mean, a season ago, this is the type of place that Moran wouldn't be denied. Aces looking to load the box. They'll send quite a few. They'll give to Moran on the inside. Hands off. But once again, corralled at the line of scrimmage. Making the play there, I think, was Shayna Price and or possibly Lonnie Botel. His gold numbers on the white. Playing tricks on me. It was Shayna Price. And also, coming in for support is Jane Elliker. Now we've got third and goal. Swaysland coming across the face of her quarterback, and Moran now trying to bounce it to the outside. Flags are down. Moran looking for the pylon. She's got it. Flag with holding. What have we got here? Hendeka so far with the first score, but offside on the defense. Naturally, that'll be declined, and Hendeka's Christy Moran. Well, Moran and scoring touchdowns in Sunbowls. Two things that are almost guaranteed to happen.
Yeah, look, get her that close to the line. You saw that they were setting up with a couple of probing runs through the middle, and she does what she does best. Bounces out, causes a bit of chaos in the middle, and scores a touchdown out wide. Now
we're coming with a 2-point conversion. Torres looks short, finds Herdman, and Herdman manages. No, I thought she managed to roll her shoulder over. She's denied, comes up short. Score remains 6-0. Hendeka over Aces 11.
She must be down short here because she definitely gets over. But, yeah, good call by the officials.
I would say the officials are having a pretty decent decent day so far, and a lot of these guys have had to pull extra shifts. COVID has affected everybody, and you know, hasn't been. And usually, especially on a Sunbowl, they'd bring in referees from all across the country to help share the experience, but not quite as accessible to us here in 2020.
I'm talking with my player hat, of course, Kenny. The officials, I have to argue with them.
Especially,
I suppose from this point of view, I need to be more on side. Doing a good job, team.
I would not want to be a white hat.
No, definitely not. They do a good job. Couldn't play it without them.
Using your grown-up voice, I would change my decisions so fast. 6-0. First blood here. It took them a quarter to do it. And 90 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Kick is sent downfield into the waiting arms. Is that Ewers now returning kicks? Has got Patu ahead of her and taken down a nice tackle there from Swaziland.
Yeah, that's one thing about Amanda. She definitely likes to lead from the front. She'll put her hand up for any position on that field. If it means that she can carry the ball and have some sort of impact, she'll do it.
She has a very distinct running style, don't you think?
She does. It's similar to mine, Kenny.
Yeah, well, yours is something else. But I know she's put in a lot of work with Paul Knight and his work over there, and especially in 2019, spent several weeks on his tutelage there to sort of maximise her athletic efficiency, and certainly playing dividends, it would appear, based on the last 2 seasons. Hayes with a good jump, and sets the edge. Still grab a few yards out of that, do Aces 11. I'm trying to work out, I think they're going to be having a big committee of running backs here, the Aces 11. Having a hard time locking down who their starter is. Red formation here.
Keep an eye out for Cubis. No, she's looked away from it.
Henry's underneath, and then she goes back. Is that Botel? What a tough grab over the middle. Defender on her back. I have to rely on the screen here. Buying time it was Ewers, and trying to make out who that receiver was. Well, it's not Botel, because there's Botel there. And, well, back we go to Ewers. On first down, this one a bit more of a settler following that big 15-yard grab.
And just going back to that previous play, once again, Ewers, the play's never dead. She's a scrambler, she makes good decisions. Like, in all fairness, that one she sort of just threw up there, but her receivers have enough confidence that they get themselves in the area and make plays like that happen.
End of one, Hendecker has a 6-point lead over Aces 11, but Aces knocking on the door now, just sitting outside of the Hendecker red zone as the two teams flip sides. Kenny Andres, Ella Briscoe and Liam Reeves, your broadcasting team today, brought to you by Live Streaming Brisbane, with many of the teams dressed by Tribal Sport, big supporter of Gridiron Queensland for the last few years. You're watching the very first Queensland 11-a-side Women's Division Championship game take place here on the Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast Stadium, home of the Melbourne Storm, the NRL premiers for 2020. A wonderful host for many of our postseasons, despite the extra little bit of sand that came with it this year. That's a fake. Up the middle, has got one-on-one coverage with Cubis, and how about that for looking the ball in? And even a little bit of post-touchdown celebrations. Isn't that Cubis coming out of her shell a little bit?
It is, and well-deserved. But careful, Casey. They do like to flag those, remember?
Oh, this is That's the same Casey Cubis who denied a post-game interview following winning wide receiver of the year a couple seasons ago, and here she is mixing it up. A chance to take the lead here. Aces 11. Ewers scanning, running, and Cubis converts her own touchdown. No, yes, it is. This time on the other side of the field. Aces take the lead. No celebration after that one.
I think she heard me. Two perfectly executed plays there in both the touchdown and then the conversion, the 2-point conversion. Making the most of those advantages of having Cubis out there with a strong set of hands and that height over any sort of defender.
And just like for those who tuned in for the Colts game, Jaden O'Rourke standing around 6'5", 6'6", and bodying defenders deep. Cubis has the exact same ability.
And I've never seen somebody twist their body into all sorts of positions to be able to catch a ball quite as well as Casey does.
Well, that's it. I mean, for once, obviously she's taller than 95% of the players she comes up against. But when you start being able to contort your body at that length and improve your catch radius, that's when, that turns into an all-Australian wide receiver.
That's right, yeah.
An odd kickoff there, possibly just trying to avoid Moran. Hayes then returns it for Hendeka. Still going, whistles eventually end that play at the Hendeka 41.
Interesting decision again to kick a short. They gave him good field position on the kickoff and they've done the same here.
And that is a strong looking defensive line there for Aces 11, sitting at nose tackle there. Laura Newell, plenty of experience now. Felt like not long ago I was just talking about her rookie season, but now the experienced vet amongst this squad. Torres looking left, throwing very quickly in the direction of Cody there, and that pass falls incomplete, a little out of the reach of Cody Fuller.
Yeah, I think that one caught everyone by surprise. Might have even caught Torres. I don't think she expected it to come out quite that fast, but good ball.
Well, I wanted a bigger sample size before I commented on this, but based on the last game I saw, I swear Torres' arms definitely got a little extra mustard on it this time round. She's got a little more zip in those throws. There she is out to the right. Another beautiful throw on the string, and it's allowing them to work this underneath route tree quite effectively.
I mean, if Aces are going to give them those outside routes, they'll take them all day. They can still march themselves down the field.
You just compare it to her first Sunbowl and the way that her passes didn't really have that sort of straight line, that have a little more air underneath it, even for the shorter passes. Now you're starting to get zip, which is allowing some of their athletes to get the catch and make plays after the ball and also protect against intercepts. It's very tangible, the difference in her throwing power and throwing technique a couple of seasons down the track. Rolling to her offside, nowhere to go. Amy Henry, well, I've seen her do that a time or two, shutting down the play from the backside.
Yeah, great backside coverage.
And I think they wanted to set up some sort of screen. You saw the receivers on the near side sideline, stalk blocking at least. Couldn't find anything there. Tried to go backside and big tall Amy Henry up in her face. And that leads to, that was a big third down stop. They've got 4th and double sticks here. Going back to receive the punt. Oh, here we go. Is that Liz Partout I see in the red boots?
I wouldn't kick it there.
And yep,
good
idea.
Have a talk about it. Have a talk about that one.
That is the best play of the game so far.
Yeah, look, mark that play down from Amy there as one that could be a turning point. So definitely in this first half, that forcing a 4 and out now, that's definitely knocked the wind out of Hendeka's sails.
And it's, when you get a hit, I mean, obviously we're into the second quarter now, but you get a hit early, that's sometimes enough just to get an extra, shorten up that tick in the quarterback's head, you know. Now instead of counting out to 4 seconds, I think they've got 3 seconds, and start to set their timing off a little haywire, especially when it's a short passing short passing offense.
Yeah, and as a QB, if you know that you're rolling one way and you think that you've got that out option to roll back the other, she's going to think twice before she does that now. Yep. Amy's taken that away from her.
Obviously, you're an All-Australian or you're a representative linebacker, but is there still a small part of you that's still that starting quarterback?
I loved playing quarterback. I loved playing quarterback for the Jets.
Patu is still back. That's a great punt. It's going to make it a bit difficult here for Liz Patu, who's stumbling around, and they're still going to have to bring her down, and that they do. It takes 2 head decker defenders to do it. But, geez, who launched that? Was that... I wanted to say Hayes, but I don't know if I'm going to replay that punt because that was a beaut. And we'll see now. Just for me, they're going back, and it is the number 5 in Del Palmer.
There you go.
Speaking to Marissa Hayes, and they said they were going to share kicking duties. Marissa might handle more of the place kicking, and Del was going to handle the punts. And well, it looks like that was a great decision there from head coach Mike Summerfield.
Absolutely.
Wonderful field position here. 3 receivers out to the right. How are they going to handle this? They've technically got one receiver with a free release here if they're going to take it.
Yeah, if I were you, it's exactly where you're looking.
Tricky's now at corner, and no, Ewers decides to go the other way. They'd want to store that in the memory banks.
Yeah, I'm surprised the receiver didn't throw up her hand and try and get Ewers' attention there.
Just grab a smoke, get the ball early, and
I would have audibled out of that play for sure.
Now, obviously, Ewers, experienced quarterback. You've been there before. How long was it into your career that you started feeling confident enough to actually change plays very comfortably at the line of scrimmage?
It was probably a good couple of years in, but Ewers is well and truly there. She knows it.
She is the architect to a lot of this offense, in fact. Here she is calling her own number, breaking through to the next level. We'll get close to
that ball's out.
First ball's out. We're getting some Hendecker players celebrating. And by that I mean Marissa Hayes. And
short-lived. Recovered by the Aces regardless.
You got to keep asking questions, right? 3rd down and short. 2-point lead here for Aces, who are currently in possession.
And back to what you were talking about, Kenny, with sort of changing the plays up and that sort of stuff. I dare say she's probably just not 100% settled into this game yet.
Quick sneak there will be enough to
flag in.
to get the conversion, but flags have come in after the whistle.
Yeah, it's certainly a decision, changing the plays that you feel more comfortable with when you're on a roll and you're really settled into the game.
And can you look here at the sneak from Ewers, and
personal
there
foul.
it is, and what are
Face
they?
mask, defence number 22. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Here. Looks like Rochelle Ware, who I am surprised I haven't mentioned yet, is getting one marked against her. And can I just say that was one of the sassiest flag throws I've ever seen, Nigel Law?
I saw that
flag
face
bearer.
mask, and here comes your flag.
1st down and 10 following the 15-yard face mask penalty. And there's the play. There it is there. And yeah, we're getting the play slow down. Good job there from the director. Oh, almost intercepted by Torres. Overthrow on the play. Probably Ewers' first bad throw of the afternoon so far. Torres just saw it slip through her hands though.
Yeah, in a game like this, you're not going to get lots of those opportunities, so you really do want to capitalise when they come your way, but just couldn't quite hold on to this one. She's mad at herself for it too.
She should be. 2nd down and 10. 3 receivers out to the left, and they will throw back on that backside to Cubis. Cubis might have thought for a second there, a bit more run before she completed the catch. And that will bring up 3rd down.
Too busy planning her next touchdown celebration.
That's what happens. She's going to cop it now, isn't she? We're in an uncharacteristic area there from Casey Cubis, the experienced representative wide receiver. Played at both Australia and Queensland levels, but obviously Australia, she was playing quarterback,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, quarterback for Australia.
And inside give here. They really not had to use the running game too much. And at this point, it almost feels like a bit of a change-up ball. Every time they do, just hand the ball off. It's Holly Dimmick, I believe, taking the carry. And I'm getting some messages in, and I'm glad I'm not the only one agreeing that these gold numbers are difficult to read and see on screen. I thought it might have just been me. We even got my glasses on this year. 4th down here, and Aces are going to persist and try to convert, and Amanda Ewers does it with ease. A good tackle eventually, but not before she picks up 10 yards.
Like I said earlier, Kenny, she's so good at these sorts of option plays. She really does back herself on the ground. And yeah, deceptive speed. Like, she just shoots through that gap there. Good heads-up tackle at the end, though.
Aces on the move again. Aces 11 with a pass out to the flat. I thought Sharman might have had a jump on that. Pass intended to the 26 in Botel. Botel of minor internet fame a season ago with her wrong way intercept.
She'll never live it down.
Of course not. I certainly didn't help that. 2nd down and 10. I do love the moment of clarity where she realizes exactly when she goes wrong before changing direction. But that was 2019. Here comes 2nd down here.
Big
And
hole.
a good carry there following some perfect blocking, making that job very easy for her. Dimmick finding some space now on this drive.
Yeah, and like you said, Kenny, perfect blocking. I've been watching the O-line for the Aces. Every set, they're coming up to the line. They're pointing out their assignments, and that time perfectly executed. Big lane for the running back.
Very confident splits too. Like, I would say that's maybe feels like an extra half a foot wider than usual, but it is coming up the goods. Once again, they'll continue rolling down the middle channel of the field.
Yeah, like you said, big splits, but they're creating a lot of space up front there, really pushing that front line of Hendeka to have to cover a lot of ground.
I'm saying big slits. It could just be me seeing the women's division at 11 aside that I'm still getting used to.
True.
First down and 10. Quite frankly, Aces look unstoppable on this drive. I won't be surprised, I was about to say, to see a timeout taken by the defense. They need to try and
Charge timeout,
stymie this
Hendeka. That is their second of the
momentum that
half.
has been generated by, well, quite frankly, Holly Dimmick and the O-line on this drive.
Yeah, they got the steam train rolling, and it's just chugging along at the moment.
And
We haven't seen many blitzes from Hendeka, so maybe that's something that needs to be addressed, or a little bit more push from the front.
yeah, well, I keep thinking Ike Summerfield, obviously, he played in Europe for quite some time, but prior to that, he was from the Gold Coast Stingrays School of Coaching, and for a long time, I wouldn't say they were anti-blitz, but they were very confident in their coverages and comfortable in their run fits that they didn't need to blitz a whole lot. And sometimes when the running games gets going, and you persist with that belief, you can give up a whole lot of yardage, and the play action game becomes a big factor. Which is dangerous, particularly with this Aces 11 side, because dare I say it, I think Ewers is up there with one of the best as far as we get back to the second. Flips this out to Dimmick. Dimmick cuts back, and we'll pick up a couple of yards on first down, but Ewers one of the best with her, what do you call it, handwork there with, lost words, but her ability to sell play action is what I'm trying to say there. He's very efficient with how she moves the ball and gets it up from a fake to a throwing position.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I've seen her practice a lot, and I can tell you firsthand that she does disguise the ball really well on that play action. Certainly catches you off guard.
Ewers looking for the end zone. Qbis getting down to her knees and coming up with 6. Her second on the day.
And that's a great catch. Very hard to defend. She puts her body between herself and the defender. That's hers all day, every day.
And you talk about being able to contort yourself when you're standing at, what is Qbis standing at now? 6 foot, dare I say, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, 6'3".
Standing tall, she's not afraid to get down low and make plays at some of these lower balls to protect her quarterback.
Heavy set backfield, expect the run.
And that's exactly what they give them. And that'll, oh no, denied.
Oh yeah,
I'm
full
sorry.
credit to the defensive line there from Hendeka.
I thought for a second there I was following you.
That freight train was coming through hard and fast, but they managed to get a trip, bring him down at the 1. Big play.
So I couldn't add the 2 of what was otherwise a dominant drive here from the Aces 11 offense. And Decker here will need to get behind the likes of some of their superstars, Bessie, Moran and Swaysland, to try and answer back. 14-6, the score now here midway through the second quarter. 2 second quarter touchdowns. Ewers the Qbis. And this will be picked up again. They've aimed for the exact same spot once again. And look, they are surrendering some field position, but at least they know what they're getting. They're preventing any big returns there, and they're happy to defend half the field.
It's a confident play. It shows what the head coach, the confidence he has in his defence. Certainly as a defensive player, it's always nice knowing that you can give up that yardage and still come out on top. But you're right, being able to get rid of the long-range return with the ability to sort of split players. And you never know, you might get lucky and a fumble happens.
Exactly right. First down and 10, just shy of halfway. Moran this time in motion. Good jump off the ball there from Pukakala. Throwing this ball downfield, has the 16 getting behind. Her defender is
April Arnold.
April Arnold, indeed. Got to get my team list on the right side.
Seattle import playing.
Indeed, came over to Australia with Cody Fuller and played linebacker, I believe, over in Seattle, and has made the move over to wide receiver here down here in Brisbane. 14-6.
Athlete doing athletic things, Kenny.
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to have a football player next to you.
Oh no, bit of miscommunication there.
And a wide receiver screen with 3 blockers and no receivers. I think the intended target was supposed to be Swaysland, but Swaysland was kind of caught somewhere between trying to block and look back for the ball.
Yeah, that's a shame because they had that play set up well.
There's some of these senior men's waiting. I see Damien Malloy there chilling out here. And I'm sure he'll be off to start getting warmed up towards the back end of this half. 2nd and 10 ball at Aces 24. Moran in motion, blocks.
There we go, that's what they were trying to set up. Unfortunately, well read that time by Patel.
It's Dania Herdman again. NFL background, not NFL, sorry, AFL background. As as far as I've been led to believe. Got a bit nicked up in the early parts of the season, stuck around, learned as much as she could outside of training, and then by the time she was able to kit up again, took the opportunity with both hands, and here she is featuring in the Women's Sunbowl here for Hendeka. 3x1, no, check that empty set here for Torres. She's on her own. We'll motion Moran left to right. And we'll roll to that right side. We'll look for Fuller underneath. Fuller still yet to get on the stat sheet there. A couple targets her way she hasn't been able to bring in.
Yeah, unfortunately that ball a bit high from Torres. You can certainly see that Ace's pressure getting to her.
And particularly with some of these taller edge defenders from Aces there, that's really messing with some of the passing lanes for Torres, who isn't the tallest quarterback. So if she's got pressure in her face, she's got to elevate that ball, which might be affecting some of the timing here. Fuller not even in the huddle. Staying on her right sideline. Now Fuller goes in motion off the line. All the way from the right hand sideline to the left, and I think we've got an early jump here. By my eyes, I think April Arnold might have got an early start.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 16. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Yeah, that's a shame there, because I was interested to see what that play was going to turn out to be. There were a lot of movement and talking prior to it. And prior to the motion, they actually had their 2 far receivers uncovered, and the Aces were having to scramble to cover it.
Yeah, we saw it. As we hold for this play. Backs, oh, geez, that would have been fancy. Pass intended to Del Palma there. Incomplete on 4th down, and Hendeka unable to come up with points here on this second quarter possession. Midway through quarter number 2, Aces 11 leads Hendeka 14 points to 6, and now jump on the ball. Interesting so far. Riley Hodgson seems exclusively to be used on defense, and now here she is in the offensive huddle, taking a spot at the wide receiver position on the far side of the field.
We'll expect that to be something that...
A flag thrown from one of the deep judges.
Are you happy with 3 seconds? Because she was actually in the throes of running off and almost off the field when the flag
Well,
went.
don't talk to me, talk to him.
We're going to have a bit of a conversation here, try and suss out what's what.
Are you happy?
In the body language, 2 teams both seem pretty intense.
There was a Hendeka player rushing to get off the field, so I'm wondering if they've just called them for an extra player on the field.
Well, I just saw the hand on the head, so I think you're onto something.
I did think she got off before, but I've been wrong before.
I also just can't count.
Okay. All right, have you got comms with Tim? We're going back to the previous spot. So we're going to be 1st and 10. Okay.
Let's go.
Going to go back to the previous spot, it appears. Paul Mercer with the call.
There is no foul for an illegal formation. 1st down.
All right, so just a little cheeky break and play there to wave off the flag. Better be safe than sorry. Starting again, 1st and 10. Rewind. High snap, but handled. Ewers still finding her way through the line of scrimmage. Spinning and turning and picking up a hard-earned 4 or 5 yards. Let's make it 5.
That's still so valuable, like 5 yards, 1st down, boom. Makes a very, I know they're going to give a 4, are they?
I'm a generous bloke. 3.5 remaining here in the first half. Women's division at Sunbowl, Aces 11 leading Hendeka. Low snap this time. Ewers still finds a way to handle it, but will be punished by the defense this time round, taken down in the backfield. Eventually there by Karen Christian, starting defensive tackle for this side.
And that's where the defense for Hendek is just going to have to get a little bit more aggressive. As you can see, the snaps aren't coming out as clean as they have been previously. So as a defensive play, you've really got to pick up on that, and this is your chance to make a play.
Ewers with plenty of time. Load and throw open as they come. Who's that? I think that is Tamika McHenry.
No, that's Hodgson.
Nope, Hodgson, my apologies. There it is. It wouldn't be long before she got involved offensively.
Look, in all fairness, I don't recognise her without a Stingrays uniform on
I was
either.
about to say the same thing. I obviously have seen her in
It's
Queensland
unnatural.
colours.
Great catch, but the move after the catch is what gives her away. Nice little in and away. Pick up some extra yards.
And still one of the finest route runners in the nation. I'll stand by that statement. First down and 10.
Even with one hand.
Even with one hand. And a false start here. It looks like incoming for Aces 11.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 75. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
I'll knock him back 5 yards. I think a little bit of fatigue starting to slip in here as halftime approaches. And unlike the juniors game in the first half of the Colts, where they were sitting under a fair bit of cloud cover, this sun's coming out now and truly giving the Sun Bowl an accurate title. And looks like we're going to get the 2-minute warning, or is there a flag down?
No, I don't see one.
Been a miscommunication between our clock operators. We'll take their word for it. Despite the 2:58 shown on the field clock, we are at the 2-minute warning. Just to tell everyone on the field to update, apparently you just won't click over to 1. That is actually 1:58. But the clock will not tick down accurately. This is a big play for Hendeka here. That is Dimmick shut down in the backfield. Who's that? That is 21B Clement, who wasn't on my initial team list. Returning to the dark side of the ball last year. Played a lot more wide receiver and tight end.
Alright, I'm glad you said B's actually on the field because I thought I saw her, and then you said somebody else's name, and now you've confirmed that she is on the field, so I'm not going crazy.
There is they've got 2D linemen wearing 21 and 27, so
Yep.
it can look a bit tricky. Second down and long, double sticks here. Inside the neutral zone, it would appear so. Flags down on the far side of Sunny Coast Stadium.
Hendeka lucky there. They definitely jumped and then were able to get themselves back on side, but
To be honest, I honestly think that's the hardest job of referees. I swear it's a coin toss for me.
yeah.
And they seem to get it right more often than not. Second down and even longer. The ball is all the way back past halfway now. Ewers looking and almost getting intercepted by Brianne Tricky.
Tricky had eyes for that all day. Dropped back early, knew it was coming to her side of the field.
Yeah, did a good job.
Unlucky she couldn't make a play on that one.
Defending 2 receivers in the vicinity there. The joys of zone defense.
This is really positive football from Hendeka that they're able to hold strong here. If they can keep them out for the rest of the half, bodes well for their second half come back.
Spread formation. Faked Dimmick. Now looking down the right-hand sideline. Plenty of contact. And
Yep,
also
flag.
flags down the middle of the field. And we've got an Aces 11 player without a helmet. That is Sainofo Tine. Eventually losing a helmet. She'll have to come off the field for one play.
Holding. Offence, number 66. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Tamara O'Connor pinged for holding there, and Decker, who've managed to get a bit of a step back in this arm wrestle of a game here after a strong drive from Aces 11 a drive ago. They've now got them in 4th and Toowoomba.
Yeah, strong defensive effort at the moment. Double sticks.
And this wind has stayed consistent all day. It's moving right to left on your screen. It might have slightly angled now towards the Hendeka sideline on close to what I imagine the 45 degree angle, but it is definitely favouring those passing right to left. Throwing against the wind, and
There you go.
there it is, picked off there. That is Dania Herdman.
Good
She's
effort.
done a good job so far in this first half, both offensively and defensively. This time, the free safety in her first year picks off a pass here at the big dance.
And this sets them up nicely for a really good attacking opportunity. Late in the second quarter. They've got one timeout left. They could put points on the board.
Well, I want to say I look like a genius there calling out that wind comment when the intercept was made, but usually when you're throwing into the wind, it's an underthrown ball that gets picked off. I'll still take credit for it, don't get me wrong. But 14-6 is the scoreline here with Hendeka with an opportunity late in the first half to try and grab some points back and level this scoreline. 1st and 10, 42 seconds on the clock. Here goes Moran. Moran yet to pull off one of her trademark 30-yard plus runs. She's got a touchdown on the board, but for all intents, effectively, Aces 11 have done a pretty good job so far corralling Moran.
Charge timeout, Hendeka. That is their 3rd and final
Hendeka.
timeout for the half.
That is, as you just heard, their 3rd and final now. So this will be very key, or shall I say, the play calling here will have to be very, very smart and wise here. They've got no more timeouts, so they're going to need to get out of bounds to try and conserve some clock. 14-6, 32 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Yeah, look, interesting choice going for a run on the first play there and having to blow that timeout. It's going to make the task a little bit more difficult now, short of a Hail Mary or a big play right into the end zone.
Before we get out of this timeout, can I just say, I see Lon Tulloch there on the sideline, obviously making a return after 3 years. She is looking in shape for someone who hasn't played the sport in a couple of years.
Yeah, look, I'm friends with Lon and follow her journey online as well, and she's been doing real good, working out hard, and the results are paying for her. She's back on the footy field, which is what she loves doing.
Talk about football families, that Tulloch family, obviously Lon there. You had Rob, who doesn't, I think is definitely more of a supporter nowadays, but obviously her daughter Aroa has done some wonderful things.
Yes, new baby.
Indeed, congratulations to her and her partner. Oh, throwing!
Oh.
They had Del Palma behind 3. Aces 11 defenders, and they could not link up.
And unfortunately, it comes back to you were saying before about Torres's passing. She's really managed to flatten it out, but on that occasion, a slightly airier ball would have paid dividends.
Yeah, well, that wind, huh?
That wind.
3rd down now. I wonder if they'll just call the same play and try to get the execution right
Well,
here.
look, at this point, they've got to go downtown.
Torres with the rollout, sets her
what
feet,
she
launching.
does.
They have gone to the same play.
Oh!
And the same net
Unlucky.
result. Actually made contact on this one here, and this will bring up 4th down. Clock stopped at 17 seconds. They found something they like, but surely they're not going to go to the well 3 times in a row.
Yes, they are. They've got nothing to lose at this point. Throw the same ball.
Lame on. They very well might. And then I get a time in here, which has to be from Aces 11. Given Hendeka blew their last time out a couple of plays ago.
Yeah, it would be unusual for the Aces to call.
I don't know if we can get camera one just to pan up a little bit when they're ready, but you can just see on that Hendeka flag underneath the Gridiron Queensland tent there, and that gives you a pretty good idea of how breezy it is right now. And right there, you can see beautiful work there from whoever's on camera one at the moment, and great directing there from Paul Mills. But you can see that is no joke of a breeze. Very grateful to be indoors. Coming out of this,
safety first.
oh, they've gone back to a more traditional run formation, and that's exactly what they'll do with Moran. Jump cuts back inside and is again tackled, and that is 4th down and a turnover. And Aces will have an opportunity to throw a Hail Mary, albeit against the wind, with 9 seconds remaining.
When you've got a player like Moran on your team, you're sort of in two minds. You want to put the ball in her hand because she can make something out of nothing, but on that occasion, the Aces were up to the task.
That is one of her key plays as well, that little pitch. I remember her back in your 2018 Nationals over in Perth, and the jump cut she made from one of those pitch plays was unbelievable, unhuman-like. Otherworldly even, as they'll run a pitch play of their own there. Aces 11. And that might just take us to the half.
Nope. Kel's not done.
We've got one more, both plays and seconds. So let's see if they've got any trick plays up their sleeve here. A hook and ladder, a triple reverse, one of which we've seen so far in the youth division early this morning there, where we had all teams running across. We had 3 games simultaneously across the field. We saw a triple reverse result in a full field touchdown, which was a wonderful sight to see. I think that was by the combined Ravens Thunder team, affectionately known as the Thunderbirds. Triple reverse, which came to fruition under perfect execution.
And that's when you say it's the most amazing play in the world.
It certainly was.
Pays off, and you're a genius for drawing that up.
So this is a situation, if we had Mr. Luke Chapman here, Gord's play would certainly be on the cards here. And they will keep one in the backfield. I assume that's Dimmick. She'll protect as Ewers rolls out, is under pressure, loses the ball, goes into the arms of, that is the 50 and Tanai, and she pitches it off. Now it's the O-line getting amongst it. That was Meta Luano. She's looking for someone to pitch off to. That went into 3 different sets of offensive lines' hands. That is what I am here for, ladies and gentlemen. No score in the last play of the first half, but I'll take that.
And the offensive line living in the moment. They've got their hands on the ball.
Look at that. Look. 1-2. Luana's going to try and get the offload here, and does so eventually. It is Lon Tulloch with the final carry of the footy as we head to the half. Some halftime entertainment there. We're going to take a short break. Kenny Andres, Ella Briscoe, Liam Reeves intermittently with us. Halftime here in the women's division Sunbowl. Aces 11 leads Hendeka 14 points to 6. We'll see you on the other side. But right now here in the women's division, Aces 11, here in the first ever women's 11-a-side state championship, they lead Hendeka 14 points to 6 with 2 more quarters of football to play. I'm Kenny Andres. I've got Ella Briscoe with me and Liam Reeves floating about as well. We've got one more half of football to play here with a 8 point deficit between these two teams. Ella, what do you see happening in the second half, or what do you think needs to happen here in the second half, let's say for Hindeka, who currently trails?
Yeah, look, for me, it's probably a bit of intensity that they've got to pick up. They've shaped with some really interesting looking play work and have really held on, but looked nervous throughout most of that first half, just like they weren't quite settled. If they can overcome those nerves and play with a little bit more aggression, I think we're in for a good second half.
I think so too. This first kickoff though goes out of bounds, and ultimately with the way the field position game's been working anyway, not the worst thing in the world. Now, they'll get the option to re-kick, or they'll take the ball from where it went out of bounds.
Receiving team will take the ball
look, to be
30
honest,
yards
with
from where it was
the
kicked.
wind-
First down.
Yeah, the wind playing a factor, like you were saying, I'd take that call to have where it went out of bounds rather than have it re-kick it. If she gets another shot at it, could end up all the way down near the end zone. So that's pretty good field position to get.
And dare I say
second half underway.
In juniors, Colts and the women's division there, with not too many booming kickers dominating those leagues, if you can get a touchback, that is a huge field position advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we see in the NFL all the time, so we think it's just a given, but kicking that ball is not an easy task.
It's not an easy task, not at all. And this first play for Aces 11, who deferred their option in the first half, goes for a loss of 2, almost 3.
And see, there you go, straight up, that bit of intensity brought from the D line. Pretty sure that was B Clement in there with the stop.
There's Rochelle Ware in the number 22 jersey, with one of the biggest motors you will see in women's football. And there is a nice completion underneath there. Ewers continues a busy day underneath there. I think is Botel, though. It is indeed. Got it right finally. It's 26, 28, and 20 all look the same to me. Tackle on the play by Ellie Sharman.
Yeah, good chase by number 7 there. She let her get away for a second, and obviously the completed pass, but quickly ran her down and stopped her for a short gain.
3rd down and long. 3rd and 8 is the official mark up. We've got 2 receivers against Tricky here on the near side, but Ewers will call her a number, and to much success, that is another 10 or 12 yards on the ground there to Amanda Ewers. Now, every time we've thought there's been a receiving matchup for her, Ewers called her a number, and it's worked.
Yeah, once again, seeing the field, getting some space by that O-line, which has really been quite powerful and dominant here for the Aces. If they continue that, the run game's going to be hard to stop.
And they've lost the ball. Ewers, though, has the awareness to dive on it after locating the fumble. That'll make it 2nd and double sticks upcoming there. That's probably the first, technically the second ball security issue that we've seen from Aces there. Last play of the first half, albeit leading to the offensive line getting their hands on the football, was technically a fumble.
And I ran into a few offensive line players outside, and they were all cheering for that play. So excited to see an O-lineman with the ball in their hands.
Well, and then see them lateraling to each other. Next level, Ewers, left side throw. Too much pepper, pass intended to Riley Hodgson. Third and long now,
and this is, whereas Hindeka, you're like, I haven't seen too many people throwing up their hands as their on-field leaders, but this is, we need to get ourselves pumped here, and this is the chance to make a big stop, big play.
The question is, do you unload here, assuming they're a pass, or do Aces 11 consider this 2 down or 4 down territory? Midfield-ish. Showing blitz.
They're definitely
Decker, they only send 5. One of them almost gets home, that's Hayes, but eluding the pressure initially as Ewers before she's taken down maybe half a yard past the line of scrimmage. So a win there to Hendeka.
And that's good defensive play there by Hendeka. They get a defensive end coming through in Hayes, putting pressure on the quarterback. Unlucky that she wasn't able to make the tackle, but then good fill from the backside from the linebackers.
And a quick change up. Hayes jumps off the field. Laura Bowl comes
Gonna
on to try and get some pressure. They've got
Good
an
break up.
incomplete pass there. Pass intended to Cubis there, but can't connect. Turnover on downs, and Decker will get an opportunity to score first here in the second half. Before we go too far away though, Laura Bowl there, who was just on that last play, moving over from technically the Logan City Club, if memory serves correctly, was a huge volunteer in the Cubs contingent of the Logan City group. I'm trying to check my notes, sure about that. Yes, indeed, I was right. First down and 10. They're going to rugby league pitch this to Moran on the left-hand side. The Beast has been quiet so far. Late flags, near side sideline.
I reckon you're probably going to have a holding back here,
Likely
which
call,
will be a shame.
all things considered. Trying to figure out exactly for the replay where the hold might have been. I see a double team take place. Everything seems all right there. Maybe it was a receiver who had a bit of a dirty grab.
Substitution infraction.
Well, the penny was declined, so I think it was actually... Oh, missed that call there. Good, so I might need my director to filter in the referee calls there as they come. Second down and 10. Cody Fuller kept quiet in the first half despite a couple of targets. She's got a bit of space out here on the open side of the field now. I would love some production out of her.
Yeah, not exactly sure what happened on that last play. Obviously the run's been rubbed off the board, but they've still got their down. So
here goes Moran. Has a first down there, and that might be the run that might ignite her here in the second half.
yeah, look, clearly someone's been listening to me talking out near the bathrooms, because I was saying to a few people that they really need to get Moran in space, and the only way to do that is with some outside pitch options. Get her outside the box instead of feeding it to her on the inside, and voila, we have yardage.
Good news travels fast. First down and 10, ball on the Aces 11-25. Sounds like a nuclear code.
Oi. It's a nice try.
What do we got?
Good work, Liz.
And Liz Patu trying to time the snap cadence. No dice.
Now she's trying to argue that she got herself back on side.
Prior to the snap, offside, defence number 9, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Unfortunately, a little bit of contact made through there on the way.
It is funny, in my talks with Kelhausen earlier in the week, he did mention that there has been communication of them trying to find a bit more balance with some of the blitzes from their linebackers, trying to create a little more discipline and have faith that they can still make plays without having to, actively blitz, especially with some of the athleticism they have in this front seven. Short pass out there to Palmer. She's been a threat so far, I'll say, on the outside. 2 big opportunities gone begging, though, to her in the second quarter. Got behind the defense twice.
Yeah, she'll be kicking herself for those plays later, but it's done and dusted now, so moving forward.
Second down. And about 3 or 4 yards to go. They'll pitch it again out to Moran, who's again got some space. Cody Fuller looking out of block. Moran uses the right hand to stiff arm her way inside the 5, and knock, knock, knock. Here comes Hendeka.
Yeah. It's good to watch. Number 6 in a bit of space. It's what she does best. Those one-on-one misses. Pure speed.
I was about to say, you just saw the angle there and the penetration early from the defensive end. I think it was Tamara O'Connor, but Moran literally just outrunning her. And they'll do it again to the open side, but it's a bad pitch. Moran will take the safe option here. It was second and goal, but all the way back out to the 11. Lonnie Botel pointing out directions. Had a year away from the Griffith Uni Thunder, played for the Moreton Bay Raptors last year, I believe.
Correct.
And now back playing with a lot of our old teammates here at Aces 11. Pass intended to Cody Fuller, who, by my opinion, was
going to waltz in.
Waltz into the end zone, but...
Nice little slant route underneath both the corner and the safety. She would have gone straight in, but the ball just wasn't there, unfortunately.
And fair to say, Cody Fuller's two favourite routes, the slant and the fade. She was available for that one there, but Torres couldn't get it to her. Third down and goal.
They just need to settle themselves here, Hendecker. They've shown they've got the ability to move the ball.
This time, Fuller lined up inside. Let's see if they send it to the back of the end zone, but they won't. They'll go to Del Palmer's direction here on third down. Pass too high, coverage too tight. Torres takes the shot as she throws.
If you stay down.
Oh, we're gonna have to figure out the quarterback depth here for Hendecker. Assistant coach Andy Miller now coming on the field to suss things out.
Oh, I see Rach Dutrand walking onto the field.
I was wondering.
Very distinctive strut. I see you.
And she's that in the number 9 jersey, and there you can see some warm-ups happening here for the men's division. There's the reigning champions, the Bayside Ravens, many of them donning the 20-year anniversary shirts there for the Bayside Ravens. Established in 2000, took them 19 years to win a championship, but that they did, and here they are with an opportunity to go back-to-back. But on Dutraban there, she's been, to my knowledge, been working a fly-in, fly-out job, so has been a bit of a part-time player here for Hendecker, but fortunately has been able to suit up for today.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to prove its worth now. She's a quality backup to have, knows the role well.
Played quarterback for the Panthers for her opposing coach today. Back at the start of her career, ended up starting for the Bayside Ravens. And then at the Raptors, played a little more defense and wide receiver, but I like to think there's a little bit of a riding the bike aspect to playing quarterback. Here she is now. Moran behind her. Swaysland flanking her to the left. She'll put April in motion. And they'll go back to the slant for Cody Fuller. And Fuller stretches out. It's been kept quiet all day, but it was a matter of time. And you can see she's happy about that one.
There you go. What a good time to score a touchdown.
How about Rachel Dutraban?
Like you said, it's like riding a bike.
Like riding a bike.
Straight back in there. So clearly I could just run out on the field tomorrow and throw a pass like that.
It's just simple maths, right?
It's simple, yeah. No, great ball. They saw that pass and that play a little bit earlier. They had that look at it and had a feel for the Aces defense. And this time managed to convert. Great play.
Good job disguising. They went back to the same concept but dressed it up a little bit just to disguise it. And then Ike Summerfield having the faith in Dutraban there, hasn't had a whole lot of snaps at quarterback, I would have to imagine, and went back to it despite the situation. And he's rewarded with a touchdown. Dutraban, plenty of moxie now. She'll pitch it to Moran, and Moran will find the corner with ease.
Yes.
Ching, 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 and there is that patented Moran fist pump. Scores a level here midway through the third. 14-14. Game on.
Great work by Hendecker there. That's great composure. When your starting QB goes down, and I admit I saw Torres walk off the field, albeit she had a bit of a limp, but fingers crossed she'll shake that off. When your starting QB goes down and you can still bring your second string on and put together 2 plays that result in a touchdown and 2 points. That's good signs.
I think you found half of the missing recipe, just finding a way to get Moran to the outside, as he just reiterated. And me and Liam Reeves here having a cheeky giggle at Chrissy Torres celebrating on the sideline there as her teammates came back to the sideline there. So that's what you like to see. We'll see what that injury comes up with eventually. Del Palma's on screen now, set to kick off. It looks like she'll handle all of the kicking duties now. And this will be a line drive straight into the arms of Amanda Ewers. She'll patiently set up some blocks, has a bit of space to the right-hand side, reads the blocks effectively, and will be taken down eventually there from Dania Herdman, who's been a busy young woman this afternoon.
Yeah, good play by her there. Herdman, bit of an individual effort. She got blocked fairly solid and I thought was out of it, but they managed to shake it off and make the tackle.
Speaking about shaking off, how about Taylor Swift just dropping Melbourne out of nowhere? Just me? Alright, don't worry about it. 14-14, scores here.
Made your 2020, did it?
Here we are as the women's division, middle of the third. Ewers looking to the left. And a catch, a tough catch made there by Agnes Salofa. First time I've called her name this afternoon there, showing off some skills and some composure to bring that pass in.
Yeah, once again, some really good route running by the Aces team here. Especially yards after catch, like obviously on a bit of an out route there and then manages to turn herself inside away from the defenders and get some vertical yards upfield.
Just to address some of the comments coming here, asking where these teams come from. Well, it's hard to say really, as we'll address that after this next play. First down and 10. Aces 11 with a speed option. Ewers will choose to keep it. It's defended well there by Hen Decker. Now to answer that question, well, if you're talking very literally, the Aces 11 side is based out of Nathan here in down in Brisbane, which is the home of the Griffith University Thunder. But they are not considered the Thunder. They are the Aces 11, and conversely, Hen Decker, based out of Carina, where the Bayside Ravens are located, but of course are under the moniker of Hen Decker. So Carina also based in Brisbane. 2 Brisbane-based women's side here. Snaps over the top of Ewers. Ewers will have to clean up. Won't try to scoop and regather. We'll just take this to the ground. And now we will have a third and very long. Jess Norcliffe checking in, former Gold Coast Stingrays player, celebrating Cody Fuller's touchdown. And Becky Martin saying that...
Is that Beaky Martin,
Yeah.
all the way from Old England?
And saying that she started with the Panthers, not the Ravens. Go back through the stream there, Becky. You'll see that I mentioned that you started with the Panthers. Check yourself. Ewers out to the right, flushed, and now we'll just put the head down and try to break a tackle, but the tackling has improved here from Hindeka here in the second half.
What was that? Number
That's
27.
Karen Christian.
Yes. Great follow through on the line.
Dina Davey loving that offensive line action from the first half. Gillette Nichols also, a player who played in the 2019 season in the women's division. Hannah Wiles tuning in. Lauren Evans.
Holding offence, number 51. That penalty is declined. That brings up 4th down.
Now, for those who might be unfamiliar to the sport and wondering, accepting penalties, declining penalties, obviously a team generally, in most situations, get the opportunity to accept or decline a penalty, and if the result of the play is actually more favourable for them, well, logic would dictate they will decline the option to receive that penalty. (14-14), one of the closer games we've had so far. The first junior game earlier this morning ended up being 28-12 in favour of the Gold Coast Stingrays. It's the first time we don't have a Columbia Blue team, obviously, albeit due to the nature of the women's comp. Fake handoff, throws off her back foot. Almost picking up the catch and coming back for it is Cubis. Had a very, no sorry, Hodgson, my apologies. The other Australian wide receiver.
So I know she was lying on the ground, but even Cubis is tall when she's lying on the ground.
Yeah, I couldn't have picked two more contrasting wide receivers, could I? And just getting a look at, oh geez, we might be getting excited about this weather a little too soon. We've got Liam Reeves giving me the bomb radar there, and we look like we've got a little love coming to the north side of, or north of Brisbane, I should say. If we're lucky, we might give just a little bit here. We might get a bit of rain, and maybe some of that storm will stay away. But hey, touch of wood, weather's been good to us so far, I believe. 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining here in quarter number 3. Scores are locked up after Hendeka scored a driver go via Cody Fuller.
Yeah, and then a big defensive stand there. We see a 4th down turnover. Hendeka now with the ball again.
And an inside give
up through
back
the guts.
to Moran. They're going to keep the defense honest, I suppose.
She had to work for those yards.
Amy
She's
Tyson
about
there.
5, I think. So a healthy first run.
Yeah, we'll call that a long 4 or a short 5. Here we are on 2nd down. In grey and blue, Hendeka in possession of the football. Torres clearly still not good, sitting on the sideline. Dutraban still calling the shots, and this play will be called dead.
Delay of game, number 9. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
And that's always the downside of being the backup quarterback coming into a game. You don't have your rhythm. Just getting done.
We're going to try and figure out the 4-1-1 on Torres, who's up and standing and on the sideline. Dutraban is, though,
Remains in at this
current
stage.
quarterback.
I'm just having trouble picking up the number of the edge here for the Aces
You and me both, sister.
on the right-hand side, but she's sort of keyed in on Moran now. Oh dear.
And it's a high snap over Dutraban's head, and it looks like Aces has recovered. Scooping that ball up is a Medolano. Another OG Panther coming through with a big play here. She's not at all unfamiliar with the big stage of Sunbowl football.
Yeah, I love seeing that for the defense. Like I said earlier, there's a bad snap. You want to get downfield real quick. And that's unfortunate for the Hendeka team because their centre had been playing really well. Alex Aarons hadn't made any mistakes, and just that little lapse in concentration, different quarterback, different cadence.
Yeah, well, they're probably sitting around the same height, Dutraban and Torres.
Yeah, height wouldn't have been an issue. It just would have been just a little bit of concentration lapsing there and a mistake, unfortunately. But
Viewers, speed option left. Liz Patu finally getting in on the offensive action, but absolutely chopped down behind the line of scrimmage by Super 7, Ellie Sharman.
way to put your body on the line there, 7.
And she's stoked about it too. Look at her. She's bouncing around like she just had a couple of Red Bulls.
You watched the replay there, and Patel was running, and the only way to stop her from running is to cut her legs down. So great tackle there.
Absolute unit. She remains in the backfield. Sharman might have to try and do that once more.
Here she comes again.
They will send her right back at her. Spread formation. They will look to attack the middle of the field with Hodgson. Hodgson looks the ball in. She's got it by a yard. That is a conversion there on 2nd and long.
And we got some happy supporters out here to my left. The Cubis fan squad.
I knew they couldn't be too far away.
Say hi, everybody.
And first down inside the red zone now. Aces 11 find themselves. Ball on the, looks like the 17. Ewers looks left immediately.
Oh,
Geez, I thought that
I
might
would
have
have
been a
jumped on
fumble.
that.
The whistles came in very early though, as did that flag in the middle of the field. There was an incomplete pass based on the signals, and it looks like it'll be holding against Aces.
Yeah.
Holding, number 51. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Marty Toa getting caught up in a holding infringement. Second down and long. Back in the spread, Ewers were the 1st and 20. Looking immediately to strike downfield, this time to Cubis. They ran the same concept, but changed the receivers, and Cubis couldn't bring that one in after having such a strong second quarter. She has been largely kept under wraps. And a change up there. Looks like Newell might be coming back into anchor part of this line.
Yeah, and that ball might just have a little bit more on it than Cubis was expecting, because it seemed to hit her hands quite forcefully and just bounce straight back out. So uncharacteristic of her.
Laura Newell checks in a right tackle. The same formation, a bit of power running here, but check that. Ewers keeps it herself, and that ball almost squirms out.
Yeah, Marissa making no mistake of it on that occasion. She finally got to Ewers, and this time actually gets it to ground. Good effort there by the defensive end, Marissa Hayes.
I'll tell you what, Marissa Hayes playing defensive end hasn't that been a revelation. Obviously was a very hard-working wide receiver, one of the best blocking wide receivers I've seen in the nation. But her move to defensive end has been outstanding over the last couple of seasons. It's been a journey, but she's found a way to be incredibly productive coming off the edge.
First time out for the half.
Yeah, look, she understands the game. She knows the position, knows what she has to do. She sees the offense for what it's capable of. So she, as a defensive mind, it's handy. So while she may not be the biggest defensive edge out there, she certainly can be disruptive. And as you saw just then, her role was to watch the quarterback, stop that rollout, and she got to her, made the play.
She did. 14-14 here with a timeout late in the third quarter. 18 seconds remaining here in quarter number 3. This game awfully close, and if you just were reading the prospects of this game on paper or on the GQ website, you would think the Aces 11 side would be in for a bit of an easy route if you look at some of those early score lines. But Coach Summerfield from Hendeka kind of joked with me as he was speaking to me through the week and said, look, if you just look at all the scores, we're trending to a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more than enough talent on this Hendeka team. It's, you know, with this game, it's all about putting those chess pieces together and finding the combos that work.
For sure.
And when they work, you get plays like that.
Sure, we're getting on the tackle number 2. I might get you to the dance with Liam Reeves there as he has some updates on Chrissy Torres. As he's run down to the field, the least I can do is give him a mic.
So it's time for your GQ TMZ update again. Well, look, I was on my way over there, but she seemingly was playing in the box safety again. They may keep Dutraband in, they're not sure. They might do a 2 QB system. Excuse me, we've been running the stairs again. So, be interested to see how they go going forward.
All right, thank you. Oh, I saw a fish. Well, he was doing the hard yards today. We'll eventually get the camera so he can just stay down there.
Yeah, the information doesn't get any fresher than that, people. It has been run from the field to the box.
So an interesting factor there. Here we assumed that's the end of quarter number 3. We're moving into the money quarter now. 12 minutes remaining in this matchup. Scores level 14-14, but we assumed it was injury-based, but Torres is comfortable enough to play at safety, and it looks like going to Dutrabrand is a game plan decision.
Yeah, well, it's not a bad decision.
Oh, it resulted in a touchdown.
It paid for them. So, yeah, I'd be definitely, as Coach Summerfield, I'd be very confident leaving her in as the playmaker, or play caller, I should say.
Why not? 4th down now. A long, long way to travel. I do love how that clock says 11:60 opposed to 12. What a funny way of saying 12. 12 minutes remaining. 2 flags thrown on the first play here in the fourth quarter.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 66. 5-yard
Definitely
penalty,
seeing a lot more
remains
energy
fourth
there
down.
on the Hendeka field. The defence, there's a couple of little dances happening.
Yeah, it's the time to have it.
Means they're also out there enjoying football.
Becky Martin, your apology is accepted. I hope that coffee treats you well. All right, take 2. Start of the fourth quarter. Fourth and forever. Loading up
Big
and
play.
throwing
Oh.
was Ewers to Hodgson. And it is just out of her catch radius. And Hodgson with a broken hand, which I'm only now just seeing is strapped up to a degree. She was cradling it on the way back there. So that'll be a turnover on downs, and Hendeka, sans one play, will get the first possession of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, look, 100% healthy. I'd say Hodgson makes a better play on that ball, but definitely a little bit overthrown, so unlucky there.
Oh,
I think the wind might have come into play, Kenny.
why not? All about the wind. It's still a factor. I'm still looking at that Hendeka flag. It's
Yeah,
still blowing
absolutely.
a gale.
And that's the first play that the Aces had running back with the wind. So that's something that Ewers is going to have to take into
here
account.
we go. The wind might have just pushed that pitch a little too far back there. And, well, Hendeka has just done Aces the favour of losing just as much yardage as Aces did on their last drive.
Yeah, that's a timing issue there, unfortunately. New QB running back combo. Just got to iron those kinks out.
Plenty of the GQ women's sorority tuning in. Sam Morningman, Juanita Hall as well. Mickey Two-Ton Thompson.
Oh, the gang's here.
Second down. Cody
Great
Fuller
slam.
open as can be.
There
Picks
you
up
go.
some of that yardage back. She really knows how to run that slant, doesn't she?
Yeah, great positioning there. You see that she gets herself as the receiver in between the first line of defenders and the secondary. Manages to put her body between.
Oh, that is some shady news coming our way.
Yeah, let's
pretend that
let's
doesn't
pretend we
exist.
can't see the weather, and let's just enjoy the weather-free football.
Men's Sunbowl coming up at 6 p.m. Fingers crossed we get out of here at a decent time.
Oh,
Ball is
winds up.
sailed and over the head of Candice Suwaisland and too far out of reach there for April Arnold.
I must say the play calling from both sides of the field on their offense has been really good. We're seeing a lot of different looks from our wide receiver routes, and the vast majority are getting completed. We're only seeing the 1 or 2 that are unfortunately not executed as well. But the quality of play is right up there.
I certainly agree, and especially with the pass concepts, but some of these snaps are starting to go wayward for both teams. Del Palmer tries her best, but her best results in a massive turnover on downs here for Hendeka, or shall I say in favour of Aces 11, who instead of returning a punt will now get field position right at the doorstep of Hendeka.
And that's a big play right there. Massive play for the second half.
Look at Ali Tia getting hyped as well. Something, when you look at the Aces huddle, and talking about huddle etiquette, Aces are one of the few teams that still uses what we used to call the old choir approach, where everyone stands in front of the quarterback opposed to the more commonly used, more circular huddle nowadays. First down and 10. Underneath. is one of the 20 receivers, and I will hold my call. It is Botel. And we have a Aces player down. I'm trying to make out who it is.
I think it's Marty Tatoa.
Number 51 there.
Because Botel gets back up, so I think it's Marty.
Olmedo Luano looks like she's coming on, and that would make sense as far as replacements go. And once more, the production team here, I believe it's Sam, a director, is just trying to scare us with what's to come. Sunshine Coast Sunshine Coast postseason football and horrid weather. Name a better couple. I'll wait.
We've had some absolute doozies up here. We've had hail, we've had lightning, we've had thunder.
Ain't that right?
Gale
ladies?
force winds.
And that dates back, if you guys think that that's limited to the live stream era, that extends well into the early 2000s. I'll tell you that now. And we got a extended break and play here, and there's someone I didn't get to mention there, Courtney Yutsoi. I just love how she keeps finding ways to stay involved with women's football down here in the Southeast Queensland division. It is not an easy ask, and let me rehash her story for those who might be tuning in for the first time or not be quite aware of Courtney's lifestyle. She lives at Moranbah, and that is Marty Toa getting assisted off the field. She looks like her day might be done. Kilhausen helping his captain off the field. But Courtney Yutsoi lives in Moranbah, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and has to travel to her nearest team at Mackay Mavericks, and that's a 3-hour trip itself every time, and then finds a way to get down here to Queensland to play in some of the teams played for the Raptors in seasons past, and here she is playing for Hendeka. Is otherwise a regular official, and she's back up there. But Marty Toa looks like she's definitely in some pain here on the sideline, but she's got smiles with her teammates supporting her. Liz Patu helping her, and I think that's Ewers as well. But we're back underway, and it couldn't be Ewers because Ewers is toting the football.
No, it's Beck Hirsch.
Of course, Beck Hirsch. Is she also a physio or something of that nature?
She is indeed. And now resident Aces medic.
Indeed. Still located down south in the Gold Coast direction?
I believe so, yes.
14. Give you a plug if I could there, Beck, but I don't know your business that well, I'm afraid. Third down. A chance here to take the lead. Still plenty of time on the clock, though, so not going to erupt over any scores, but 3 receivers out to the left. Ewers rolls that direction. Looking short underneath. Has to tuck it back in. Well, basketball pass it into the end zone. I lied. I will erupt. That was awesome.
We've seen it all.
And that is the number 7 at Agnes Salofa. Got on the stat sheet here in the second half earlier with an impressive catch up to Sam, and this time backs it up with a touchdown. Ewers throwing a third tutty for the day. That's the sort of that rarely ever works in quarterbacks' favors when you go to the chest pass.
And this is what Ewers does. She makes something out of nothing. She was in all sorts of bother there, 6s and 7s, and then manages to pull out that sort of pass. Question might be over whether she's past the line of scrimmage, but I'm pretty sure she was behind her. The referees were right on top of that.
Well, that is obviously the...
Yeah, they're calling it a touchdown.
There it is, touchdown confirmed. But I think that probably resulted out of having to roll to her offside. There's a lot of movement that is necessary to complete a pass when you roll to your offhand side. In this case, it's to Ewers' left. And usually you try to move your body around so you can throw it accurately, but instinct just took over there for Amanda Ewers. And she just...
Perhaps she had a championship netball career that we are unaware of. Because she just channeled some of it right there.
Right into goal attack. What's that? Meta Luano. Never afraid to show her emotion. Getting a little hype on the right side of the line. 2-point conversion. here now for Aces 11 to extend this lead. Very good jump there from Marissa Hayes, and Botel had it on the line. Rotated a bit too much, couldn't bring it in. So they will remain a 6-point lead here to Aces 11. 9 minutes remaining on the clock here in the Women's Sunbowl 2020. Puts her hands to her head, wondering what happened. So a touchdown here separates the two teams, but a chance for Hendeka to level and then take the lead with a successful conversion. But right now the driver's seat belongs to Aces 11. And Moran, they've put her at the top of this triangle of returners here. That's where the ball has been predominantly landing from the Aces 11 kicks. Riley Hodgson readying herself for the kickoff. And they will continue this squib. It goes between the legs of Marissa Hayes, and that is the 11 and Herdman. Bit of excitement arising out of the crowd there for a second, given some of the things she's done this afternoon, but eventually gets shut down just shy of halfway.
Yeah, definitely the sort of player you don't want to give too much room to.
Tommy and Zaglo, former Thunder Colt, saying that I love that LB is back. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say you mean LSB, and if that's the case, LSB is glad it's back too. In the Facebook comments there. Torres is back at quarterback.
Yeah, an important drive here for Hendeka, and unfortunately, first play, a bit of miscommunication.
Right there, they were hoping that changing quarterbacks might result in the same result last time they did it, which was a touchdown immediately. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Plenty of time still on the clock. They don't need to panic or rush anything here. Just settle back into the groove.
Pitch out again. Oh, but Laura Newell knew what was up there. Shut down that play real quick. Moran tried to get to the outside. Newell's angle was too good on this occasion. Well, check that. Sorry, Meta Luana. My apologies, of course. Very much an experienced edge defender.
I'm sure there's been some instructions go out there to those ends to obviously contain that pitch out option. So whilst it came out strong at the start of the second half, it's certainly lost its shine.
Well, that's it. Adjustments after adjustments after adjustments, and they try to get that ball to Fuller again. And look, I know she's been successful there, but that time she had 4 white jerseys, getting closer and closer to her. And I think we've got a timeout here to Hendeka. That'll be the first team charged timeout here for the second half.
Yeah, so as you can see, obviously Coach Howson's talking with his defensive unit, and he's making those necessary adjustments to really shut down what Hendeka's being able to come up with in the second half. And this is where the arm wrestle really kicks in. The coaches have to call these plays and make decisions based on what personnel they've got on the field.
What I think actually might be fascinating is here's where the conditioning will really come in the bench rotation, because effectively this is, for the Nine-a-side days, this is effectively the game would have been wrapped up as far as minutes to go, and here there is effectively a full quarter to go. Lights on here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. And a Torres pass finds Del Palma. They finally get the deep reception they've been aiming for all game along. This time Del Palma takes it down to the 22.
Great work there. Really strong pass by Torres, standing tall in the pocket, getting every little inch out of her. Finding a receiver wide there. That was great pass, great catch.
Getting behind a quality defender there and Beck Hirsch as well.
And she had plenty of pressure coming through. So like I said, had to really stand strong in the pocket, put all that trust and faith in her blockers.
That's where bravery comes in when you're playing the quarterback position. Sometimes
Okay.
you just have to accept you're going to get hit. First down and 10. Apologies, ball on the 23 it appears. Moran back into the action, sheds the first would-be tackler and eventually a host of others rally to bring her down, and then another
Late
sassy
flag.
flag throw coming in from the
Sassy
umpire
flag.
position. I'm trying to see if there's any holding calls there, maybe, but it is a very late flag.
Face mask, defence. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal line. First down.
And that would make sense there. It's because there was a face mask there, and that will give them half distance here, and Decker now with a prime opportunity to level things up. I can't quite see it on the angle. I think honestly our umpire there, Nigel Law, is in a better position than we'll ever be to make that call, so we'll take his word. He's there for a reason. And he goes Moran up the middle. Minimal yardage. Beautiful tackle there from Jessica Samonte.
Yeah, small gain, but I like the play calling. We've come back to a more traditional inside run. The outside was getting shut down, so they're mixing it up, mixing the run game up. And as we've seen, Torres has proven she can pass the ball anytime, anywhere. It's opening up the playbook nicely.
She's got inside leverage there with Palmer if she wants it. Moran's the ball though, and
Gets a great block.
tiptoes her way past some blocking, and will be tackled down at the 2. And that's Lani Bertel taken down.
It's unfortunate she couldn't score on that one off a great block.
Oh, that was April, I believe, April Arnold laying the lumber.
Putting her body on the line. It's great work.
Looks like we've got a timeout here. It looks like it's to Hendeka, judging by how quickly that team came to the sideline. 20 points to 14. Hendeka looking for the match leveling score. This cloud just appearing like a bad smell or the unwanted party guest. You weren't invited. 6:20 remaining here in the fourth.
I actually think that timeout was taken by Aces if our
Was it?
score.
I didn't miss it, unfortunately. I'm trying to look at it on our screen, and Aces, it does appear that I've
Yeah.
used another timeout. My apologies there.
Obviously, Coach Housen just wanting to slow things down a little bit, have a chat to his defence. I saw some personnel switch up. I've noticed Cubis is out on Fuller. So that's an interesting matchup. That's going to...
Well, what's interesting is that she's playing head up. To me, that looks like outside leverage, so they'll give it to Moran, though. Moran almost stuffed up and gets a bit of help there to knock her over the line there. And Moran always been quick to praise her teammates. Quite literally had her back on that last run. That's her second for the afternoon. Trying to make out which lineman.
Number 90,
Much timeout, Hendeka.
T. Brown.
Their second.
What an effort. That's great teamwork.
That's another timeout taken here from Hendeka, and I imagine why. It's because this is their opportunity to take the lead here on this conversion. They want all the time they can to think about it and pick the right play, but T. Brown just coming in, and she deserves half a touchdown there. That's a 3-point touchdown to her.
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's hard to coach, that sort of play. That's second effort. After your first job's done, she's gone and looked for a job, seen that her 6 was about to punch the ball in, got held up and just needed a little bit extra, and in she came.
As I got notified apparently earlier this game, and I think it was Jared Garrity who educated me in it. The aiding the runner rule has been amended, so you can do that. That's no longer a foul. You just can't pull your runner forward, which I think is a fair.
Yeah, so it's almost
assessment of the
effectively you could create a full-blown rugby scrum now.
Why not? 20 points to 14. Sorry, 20 points all, we should say. Following that Moran touchdown here to take the lead with 6 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. They'll go to Moran again. Moran caught a yard out. Scored! Converted! 2-point lead here to Hendecker.
Big play right there.
Both signals up now. Mercer confirms it. Hendecker with their second lead of the day.
And watching the replay there, Jess Simonte doing a really good effort defensively, managed to spin Moran around.
Oh, that's oh, you can see the plane gets broken. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, break it down and see how much of her leg made contact with the turf there, but I think most will call that a touch or a conversion. Patu came screaming in on Torres. Torres dealt with that. There it is.
Yeah, and you can see that ball in her right hand, just breaking the plane. Yeah. Like I said, great effort by the Aces girls to spin her around. That's what you want to do as a defensive player, but on this occasion, it's a game of inches.
That it is, and boys and girls who are watching in the young division, that's why you get into the weight room. If you want to play this game into your adulthood, that is, you know, I'm not being sarcastic when I say that's probably a couple extra reps in the weight room that probably got her over the line there.
Yeah, leg drive, being able to hold herself up under the weight of all those other players.
2-point lead here for Hendecker. Getting some love in the commentary box here is Ella Briscoe. This game getting set to restart here. Hendecker now in the driver's seat. Oh look, here's where it's important. I think they're talking weather in our ear right now, our producers, but probably something worth discussing, and I think will be covered by the time it comes in. But if by chance a storm happens to come in, nowhere more than a half of football's played here, and it will go, and if the game gets called, it will go to the team that's in the lead. Yeah,
exactly, and that's why, you know, Coach Summerfield taking a time out, being sure of what play you were going to run on your 2-point conversion, it could be the move that wins the game for them.
And just to update, looks like there's a couple new viewers here wanting updates on background on these two teams. You haven't heard of these two teams before because they're amalgamated 11-a-side teams from the remaining 9-a-side teams in Gridiron Queensland, as we see this kick return fielded at the 31. Who's this in the 19 jersey? Pushing forward, sorry, it's Hodgson, that 3-9, it could be a 6 by the end of the game, the way that I'm going. Hodgson, dangerous, had a couple of seasons ago where she had multiple punt return and kick return touchdowns. Flags down at the 40.
Yeah, if there's a player on the field you don't want to kick it to, I can tell you it's number 13. My time at the Stingrays with her, she was a great special teams player.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
There it is, it'll knock them back a few yards. But to just continue that assessment there, two amalgamated teams to make an 11-side competition between the remaining 9-a-side teams, which is, and to put it very simply, predominantly, Hendecker is made up of Ravens, Raptors, and Aces 11, predominantly made up of Thunder and Gold Coast Stingrays, with a couple of Logan City players scattered amongst that.
Yeah, our weather people just said they gave us about half an hour. I think we have less, judging by the activity in the stands. We're quite comfortable in our little box here, but getting wild and woolly. Great
right
ball.
Side, and what a fourth quarter here for the 7 and Agnes Salofa.
Big don't argue. Way to take a shot and then still keep going for yards.
Where was she in the first half? I guess, watching Cubis make catches, but she has been such a factor here in the second half.
Absolutely.
First down and 10 from the Hendeka 39.
And we do have some rain. The rain has arrived.
Well, let's see how this affects it. It might have affected it right there. Yu was opting to take the run there instead of letting it fly. She gets it to the 30.
I'll spot her at the 20.
£20 to 22. And with the rain is coming, that's confirmed, and now getting reports of lightning coming up from the back of our stadium here at Sunshine Coast.
That's going to be a problem.
It will. We'll cross that bridge when it inevitably comes to us. But 5 minutes now on the clock. So if you, the urgency now picking up for Thunder. 5 minutes is still a lot of time, but with weather factors now being a factor, you want to get to the lead as quickly as possible. There's Mara O'Connor at left tackle. Ewers staying in the same formation largely for the second half. Is Aces. Ewers will keep this herself. Navigating the trash around the line of scrimmage before being taken down around the 23. Flags came here from the near side sideline. As you can see, the darkness approaching as well, and that's just not the night, and maybe that gives you a very clear image of the rain that has well and truly kicked down the door and welcomed itself to this party here of Sunbowl 2020. And bear with us if we lose some of our shots, because this rain has come in so unexpectedly that our camera operators are a little unprotected, so bear with us. 4 minutes remaining here in the clock. Women's Sunbowl 2020 pitches it to Holly Dimmick, who went a little MIA in the second half. An eerie tension now coming over the crowd here at the Sunshine Coast Stadium. Everyone half watching the game, half watching the sky.
And if you thought the wind was a factor before, Kenny, it's really picked up now.
It's
you see the Aces settling into a run game, but
Ewers still persisting.
Ewers wants to prove me
throw.
wrong.
Pitch! Oh my lord! A pitch and catch to Hodgson and taken down there from
wow.
Herdman. That would have been one of the sickest hook and ladders I've ever seen. I don't think that was intentional. I think that was instinct.
I think it was too.
But Herdman.
And that's just some players making individual efforts.
Janie on the spot there, staying alive and not dying with the play. This wind is picked up. The rain is bucketing down. I make no apologies for my overly descriptive words. Ewers will try to do this herself. She's looking for the left corner. Stretches the ball out. An inch short, if that.
And there's some defense. Coming up strong, a yard out.
Well, with the way this offensive line has been going, you got to think this Aces 11 side is probably a sneak away from grabbing the lead here. 2 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock here by our count. And here's the thing. If they score and Hendeka have got to try and get the lead here in the final 2 minutes, this wind is in their face, this rain is in their face. It'll be incredibly hard to try and pass this ball with the current direction they're going.
Yeah, look, right now, this is not a good situation to be in if you're Hendeka. They really need to hold strong here.
Right
Everything
now,
you got.
the effort needs to be here. Ewers will try to hand this off. How about a funky... Wow, they had three in the backfield and they ultimately give it to Superwoman herself in a Liz Partout, and she gets the go-ahead score here with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Look at that for a formation. They had Lon Tulloch in the backfield as well. And it is Liz Patu.
I've seen that formation somewhere before.
I'm thinking 2015, am I right?
You might be right.
A chance here to try to at least protect a bit more of the lead here if they can extend it to 6. And they'll give it to Patu again. She crashes over, waiting for a signal. No, they're going to call her short. Not a whole lot of arguments there from Aces 11. It looked good from our vision. I can only assume they've rotated her there. And you can see where the helmet falls short.
You can see the helmet fall short, yeah.
So,
that's a big effort. So there's still time on the clock for Hendecker here.
Rain bucketing down. These sand pits becoming mud pits. Can't imagine what's going through the head of the Stingrays and Raven men's sides. Getting a bit of company.
Well, I imagine the defense are going to look forward to it.
We just had the door open for a hot second. We could hear how loud that rain is. 26-22. 4 points now the difference. It was a 4-point game in the Sun Bowl last year, I believe. Oh no, 6 points. 18-12 if memory serves correctly, which hasn't been going great lately.
We're remembering things from 2015, but...
It's hit and miss on Rocks and Diamonds. Oh, and I don't know how intentional that was! Almost a recovery there from Aces 11, but it'll set up Hendecker at the 43-yard line on their own half.
And whilst normally you would think that kicking a ball along the ground when you've got the lead and you're going late into the 4th, you would think it's not the best idea. Certainly when the weather is like this, you're going to chance it and roll the dice and maybe try and get a fumble recovery.
48 yards is needed by Hendecker. 45-yard halves plus 3. Quick maths. And a low snap, but it is handled nicely. They will throw for Fuller. It is intercepted! That is Hodgson! And Hodgson is returning this all the way back, and that might be the dagger. Here she cops a shot over the sideline, but one might think that could be the final call here. We are still beyond the 2-minute warning. They will have a time in here, but Hendecker have only got the 1 team timeout remaining here. Just some smart football should see Aces 11 here out with the victory. And for a second, Hendecker fans saw Cody Fuller with a step, I believe. But the pass, well, we talked about this wind and how it's having an effect on deep passes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly what's come into play there. The idea was right. She had a good grip on the ball, but just unfortunately, as she's aired that one out, you could really see it pull up the brakes in the wind. And with 3 Aces defenders underneath it, it was an easy pick.
Well, look, if you're a nose tackle or a defensive tackle on the middle of this line, especially with you as going under center, I'm trying to get a push here. And they'll hand this ball off there to Dimmick. Dimmick trusted to protect this game, protect this victory.
So I've got the 2-minute warning now. If the Aces want to protect the ball and just run it here, Hendecker might still be able to get one more possession here if their defense can really step up.
Looks like this next presentation is going to be in the wet. Good thing we're prepared for all such events here at live streaming Brisbane and Gridiron Queensland. 26-22. They will throw. Ewers will protect this football. And she will eventually take the run down after a 3-yard gain here, and that clock ticks under the 2-minute warning here. My screen says Hendecker has 1 team timeout left, and that's
taking it now.
Used just that moment. Even though the clock's
Yeah, you never know with viewers. That might have been a designed pass play that she's decided to keep, or it could very well have been a QB keep.
Very cool, man. So for those who might be at the stadium listening now, I know the on-field clock says 250 because there is an issue with the clock that is to represent 150, and that's what we've got shown here on our live stream clock as well. So it is 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in this game. 0 timeouts left for Hindeka, and for Aces for that matter. So they might get one play by the end of this, if they can come up with a couple of back-to-back stops here. This is shaping up to be the closest match of the 4 Sunbowls today. Aces have won 4 of the games between these two teams, and Decker snagged a draw and then picked up a win via forfeit. Both coaches truly believe that those first couple of games they treated as trials. It is all about today. And they will hand off to Dimmick. Dimmick's found plenty of space. The O-line does a fantastic job once more, and that might be the first down right there that will see Aces 11 etched into history here in GQ.
We do have a late flag.
We're on the 14, so we're going to the 7. After the play, personal foul, striking, number 11 defence. Number 11 is disqualified.
More than do it there. And we are
That's unfortunate. They definitely did not need that.
And as a defender, this is the worst. It's one thing to wait out 1, maybe 2, but a full 90 seconds. I'm just waiting for the end here. It's a frustrating experience. I'm trying to see where the unnecessary. Oh, you can see it there. Yeah, emotions
can't
taking
do that.
control there.
But look, the deal was probably sealed when the O-line got a great push up front there. Running back, making it through, picking up that first down. That there's what has really sealed this win for the Aces, barring a miracle for Hindeka.
And it would only be a fumbled snap here that could lead to any sort of miracle result here. The team called Hindeka, hailing out of the Carina Leagues club down in Brisbane. And knees now, and this is that situation where everyone's just waiting for the appropriate moment to explode with excitement on the winning sideline, and for the other sideline, you're dreading
seething with rage
those
right now.
Seconds tick off the clock as you look forward to getting through the presentation and getting into the sheds, particularly with this weather.
When it's so close like this, you know, 1 score in it, but this is the way the game's played, with your timeouts and the ability to stop the clock. Being able to kneel this out is an absolute luxury for the Aces. They don't have to run another play, and they will come away with the victory here.
And Liam Reeves grabs his umbrella and heads down for the presentation like the professional he is.
Pretty bad.
Got a lot of seniority.
There we go. That'll do it.
And there it is. We are just waiting for Paul Mercer to do the customary raising of the football to make the result official. And seconds away now. Final 10 seconds, and Kellhausen has his second Sunbowl here in the women's division. Obviously picked up another as in an administration role with the men's with the Thunder senior team a while ago, and obviously last year finally got the hurdle. And there it is, your 2020 Women's Division Sunbowl winners, Aces 11. As the two teams retreat.
The Ace is celebrating big on the sideline. Unfortunate for Hendecker.
Looks like I might get you to have to read the show here while I take a headset down to you got on the field. Let's see your skills in work there. Ella Briscoe, let's see how well you can vamp in the light of the victory.
Kenny. I'll take care of it up here. You enjoy the rain. Both teams now just lining up to shake hands.
Am I running this down the limb?
Incredibly close game, unfortunately, just not being able to get there on that.
He's run down with a mic.
Big defensive efforts and big moment plays for the Aces when it really counted. Luckily the weather held off enough for this game to be able to finish, but certainly the men's final is shaping up to be quite a wet affair, as the rain that we've got here seems to be quite set in.
And musical headsets continue here as Liam Reeves and Paul Mills are just working out how to handle the post-game presentation in light of the crazy weather that has come upon us here in the second half of the Women's 2020 Sun Bowl. So bear with us there for those tuning in for the presentation. A lot of logistical issues are being sorted out as we speak. And just to update everyone, we will be getting some post-game interviews, but it will be audio only. Unfortunately, just the way things have fallen with the rain, we lack some of the camera shots that we would usually have otherwise. And she doesn't have a headset in anymore, but I will take this opportunity to thank Ella Briscoe for taking her time to come down and keep us company and give us the insightful information she gave throughout the game here and this fantastic 26-22 result. You can't hear her, but she's thanking me profusely.
I'm thanking myself, Kenny.
Appreciate her company.
Thanks, man.
And I will talk you through here as we wait for the presentation to sort itself out. Thanks, buddy. All right, so we are trying to... So I don't know if I might have to communicate this out to the teams on the field here, but we're gonna have to get you guys to move closer to the dugout area, close to the sideline. Both these teams absolutely drenched, both head coaches completely drenched in this torrential weather that's come through. celebrations taking place, and we will not be able to give you pictures of the post-game presentation, or we will try the best we can, but we will have you on audio very, very soon. Liam Reeves is making his way down there. He's got the headset and he's on his way down. And you can see the two teams. You see the camaraderie, and this is something that feels sometimes exclusive to the women's division, but they're taking their photos now. I won't be surprised if they take a team photo, a group photo I should say, after that. But it looks like Ndek is making their way to the dugout for the presentation area now, and Aces won't be too far behind them. And here's what I talked about, the group photo between the two teams who were just combatants only minutes ago. You can see how much respect there is in this sorority, if you will, of women's football. And that's a wonderful screenshot right there. Victorious team today, Aces 11, coached by Kellhausen. 26 points to 22.
I am standing where we're going to do the interviews.
Sound check if you can.
This is audio check, audio check, audio check, audio check.
All right, it looks like we are ready to go for interviews. If he is ready, Liam Reeves, interview at will. Down to you, buddy.
I think we've got it set to where you've been commentating.
Okay.
So like we talked about, you.
All right, I have been updated information. A minute from the first interview there, we'll be leaving you with pictures of the field there, but we will have interviews from the winning head coaches, some of the key players, and of course, your 2020 Women's Sunbowl MVP, and hopefully get some ambience of the winning trophy being presented to the winning side, in this case, Aces 11. They're just pulling in now. We're only seconds away. This is a little bit different, but hey, so is this entire year. Both teams getting into the safety of the undercover part here of Sunshine Coast Stadium now. 26-22. Full time here. And the Aces 11 defeating Hendeka in a fantastic game of football. Closest game we've had so far here today on Sunbowl Saturday. As the sidelines are clear. For those tuning in for the men's game, well, we'll have to get you updated information on that because there has been some lightning spotted around. So we will get an updated start time for you there. And I'm just waiting now. I think I'm almost ready to throw down to Liam Reeves. And just waiting for the green light. Those who might be leaving us now and grabbing a quick bite to eat is around dinner time for those of us here in Southeast Queensland. I do appreciate your company for however long you have tuned in with us today, whether you've been watching in from the youth or the juniors early this morning, or whether you've just tuned in to the last couple of seconds of the women's division, the exciting finish to the Women's 2020 Sunbowl. Do appreciate your company here on Gridiron Queensland TV, brought to you by Live Streaming Brisbane, with the help, of course, of GQ's proud clothing supplier, Tribal Sport. Looks like we're ready to talk to the coaches. And that's another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds. Who will come up with?
So we're going here first.
Sunshine Coast Stadium. And it looks like we are just about ready. Down to the dugouts. Liam Reeves, when you're ready.
Alrighty, welcome to the 2020 Women's Sunbowl post-game, post-game award ceremony. The way